Hello, everyone, and welcome to Style Power. I'm Catherine Cassidy of You Styled, and you are joining us live. At You Styled, we work with busy, successful, professional women to build a wardrobe they love. It's all about you getting out the door in your style so you can focus your energy on the things most important to you. I started this interview series, Style Power, because the deeper purpose of You Styled is to empower women to step into their power and step out in style. When I founded You Styled in 2008, I wanted to make women's lives easier because that's how I believe we can have more women staying in the workforce, if that's what they want to do. Men have been able to build their careers all these years because of the support they have at home, and that's how we women will be able to build our careers, because we ask for support and because we get support. And why style power? Well, as we step into our power, we show up at a different level. We become more confident. We speak up. We are heard. So Style Power was created to inspire you to step into your power by learning from these amazing women that I get to interview. These are dynamic, inspiring women who do it all, but they don't do it all themselves. Today, I am so excited to welcome my good friend and marketing genius, Jaclyn Mullen. Inspired by how the internet has become a stage, Jaclyn utilizes her performing arts background to coach clients on marketing, content creation, community building, business development, and personal development. Her expertise has been featured on sites such as the Huffington Post, tinybuddha.com, sheownsit.com, which is a great website, as well as the newyorktimes.com. And as a speaker, Jaclyn has spoken at and produced events for Social Media Week, Social Media Breakfast, the University of Miami, Pamper Me Fabulous, and Women Empowered Empowerment Conference. She is a busy woman. This woman, I swear to God. Sometimes she gets so much done in a day. I'm like, whew, that makes me tired just thinking about it. But it is amazing what she has created for herself. And one of the things that I think is really cool is that she is a recent graduate of the Tory Burch Foundation and Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses most recent incubator, I guess you could call it. So she is one of their scholars and alumni. Without further ado, I would love to welcome the beautiful Jaclyn Mullen.
Well, Catherine, you certainly know how to make a girl blush, and thank you for having me. And, you know, needless to say, you have played a very critical role in helping me and embrace my style power and really step up into all these things that you just shared. So for that, I'm like forever indebted to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I want the audience to get a better sense of you. I mean, I know that's your bio and you're awesome and we know this. But I'd love to share, you've got such a great journey. And it really tells a lot about, you know, why you're so great with the content creation, because you're so creative. But, you know, just tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are now and what drives you to continue to build this successful business that you have.
It's interesting. It's certainly been a journey. So let's go back to my youth, because I think that's had a tremendous influence and impact on why I am the way that I am. I've always been ambitious. So my mom's parents immigrated to the United States, and they had their own business. And I think I subconsciously saw very early on when I would go and visit my grandparents in Florida at their jewelry store, just this hard work ethic and like commitment to the entrepreneurial lifestyle. My grandparents would take time off to go on cruises and travel around the world. And I remember I was like a little kid, particularly when I first started working in 9th grade, my grandfather's like, if you see people on floor, you pick it up. Like there was a lot of emphasis on doing a job well done and going the extra mile. So I share that to say that I actually started working in 9th grade. And by 11th grade, I was able to get high school credit by leaving school to go work. And so, you know, there was just always this desire in me to be self-sufficient, to be figuring things out. I love to like look at things like back then I was working in retail at the mall. And we would get tasked with these like sales goals and sales assignments, and I would love to connect with the customers and figure out why the customers might need a product or service versus listening to the company that I was working for tell me why the customers might need like a loyalty card or something of that nature. So this fascination with people and the psychology of shopping and everything had always kind of been there, matched with this performing arts background. Now, when I say that this has kind of been a journey, I originally saw myself working in the entertainment industry. I thought I was going to be this entertainment mogul, somebody who actually performed and had various brands and entities under me. So I always had very like lofty goals and a very big vision. It was never, I'm just going to be this one-dimensional thing. But I worked in radio out of college, and while that was great, there was like a definite glass ceiling in radio. So then I jumped into HR consulting and business development, which seemed very random at the time, but in hindsight, totally has supported me, particularly as I went through this like Tory Burch program. And then when I realized that HR consulting and business development wasn't creative enough, that's when I started to explore self-employment, working for myself, and becoming an entrepreneur. And I've been an entrepreneur with my current business for about 4 years now. I had gone in and out of like the freelancing pool to working for a company to wanting to become self-employed again. And finally, 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? I want to be able to create my own career. And there's too much red tape. There's too many policies and procedures. There's too much time delay when I work for these corporations and entities, and I think I can do this better. So now I've been working with brands, small business owners. I've transitioned even recently into a business coach, and really every day I start with like a clean slate, and it's a matter of how can I go back to that original curiosity? What drives people to shop and support products and brands? And I often am that bridge between my clients who are like, here's what we do. We save people time. That may not be what your customers care about. So it's been really, really, really fun. I get to be like this producer, if you will. 1 foot on the creative side, 1 foot on the strategic side.
Sorry. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's not a perfect world. But apparently the maybe you can't even hear it, and I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But the gardeners are here.
No.
But anyways, you know what I think is so interesting about what you say, because like one of the things that even from the very beginning with my business was I save people time. That's always been a big deal for me. For me though, about like saving women time so they can focus on the things that they want to do. And I've had to learn, especially like under your guidance, it's like that's not necessarily what they care about. I think that's what they realize eventually, that after working with me, oh, this is a lot easier. Oh, this saves me time. But that's not the reason why they buy. So that's a really cool, I think that I just want to sort of pull that out for people to notice that. And that's why it's so genius to work with someone like you, because you can help them hone in on, I don't know, maybe you can share a little bit now about how you help people find where those golden nuggets are that will get people to react and engage with the messaging.
You just gave us a great example, actually. So it's not that people don't care about saving time, but when you say to somebody, I'm going to save you time, they're like, great. Okay, how does that really translate to them? What do they want to be doing with their time? That's what you have to figure out. I can help you save time so you can go on vacation. I can save you time so you can have another 20 minutes to yourself in the morning. For women, I think that's huge. I can save you time so you can actually go to your kid's recital. That's the difference that I'm talking about. And sometimes it's just a tiny, subtle tweak, but it's including that extra detail. And the reason why that extra detail is so important is because we self-identify. We want to self-identify as a society. And if you don't give me a scenario that allows me to self-identify, it's not as emotionally appealing to me. So my whole thing with marketing is that marketing doesn't have to be manipulative. In fact, it shouldn't be manipulative. Marketing should be truth. What are the real life scenarios that people are experiencing? And how do you speak to them? And the beauty in this day and age with social media, which is why I've kind of found this like calling, if you will, in the digital world, is that all we have to do is listen to what people are telling us is that truth and then speak to it.
Interesting. Well, and when you say truth, I'm thinking even more about like the truth of you as the business owner, whether you're corporate or actually an entrepreneur. You know, I think that truth piece of marketing your message is really important, you know, especially in corporate where you're thinking, oh, I need to be a certain way, I need to act a certain way, I need to dress a certain way to be able to get the promotion. You're trying to, you know, be someone's monkey because that's what's going to get you to the next level. I mean, that's not everyone. That's obviously kind of a gross generalization, but that tends to happen because you're just like, what do I need to do to get the promotion? And sometimes with marketing for an entrepreneur, maybe it's, what do I need to do to get the client? Especially when it's like a new business and, you know, the money piece is really important because that's the, you know, it's survival. I think people get caught up in that sort of maybe a little bit of like a hamster wheel of just trying to be what you think you're supposed to be to connect with people. Except for that doesn't really help you connect with people. I don't know if you have any.
Very good point. You bring up a very good point because oftentimes when I start working with some of my clients, and I've been guilty of this myself, right? One of my favorite quotes is, "Why do the cobbler's kids have no shoes?" We often think it's about us. So the emphasis and the focus is on what do I provide? How do I help these people? Let me talk about me, okay? But that can get misconstrued, especially in the digital day and age. People want to feel like they belong to a community, so it's really important. Like there's this term that gets thrown around a lot in the social media landscape, community manager. People want to feel like they are a part of something versus just looking at you and saying, good for you, great, like what's in it for me with them. That's like a big, that acronym, I think we all have heard it at one point in time. But when I start to work with my clients, whether they have a personal brand that they want to build up to help them get a job and move forward in their career with the company, or whether they have a professional brand, what's in it for me? And a prime example of this, okay, is Steve Jobs. He's one of my favorite examples because I taught a workshop this past week, and I pulled up this picture of Steve Jobs, and I said to everybody in the room, tell me one thing about Steve Jobs. Now, Catherine, if I were to say that to you, who is Steve Jobs, basically?
Well, all I think of is his black turtleneck.
Okay, you would, because it's style, right? And I love that. That goes to show. Most people would say Steve Jobs, you know, is the CEO, creator of Apple, all right? But here's where it gets amazing. One person said, oh, I know that he dropped out of college. Another person said, oh, I know that he studied calligraphy in school. Another person said, I know that he was huge on innovation. And I said, how does that impact, you know, your purchasing of Apple computers versus Toshiba? Because people could identify with each of these different things with regard to Steve Jobs, the fact that he's this like renegade vigilante, the fact that he's a creative, the fact that he was a father, it allowed people to feel like they were part of a community and support that product and brand versus, you know, another tech entrepreneur who we don't know those sorts of details and there's not a story behind it. So it's one thing for Steve Jobs to say, I wear a black turtleneck every day. But why did he wear the black turtleneck every day? Do you know why?
Yeah, because it was his uniform. It was efficiency. He was focusing, and it's actually a lot of designers, like Vera Wang wears the same thing every day for the most part. She has her uniform. It's because she's focusing on designing and creating. And so there's some, you know, obviously like as a stylist and helping women step into their power, I mean, there's a certain amount of like confidence that you have to already have to be able to do something like that versus not necessarily finding the confidence, but just having fun with it. If you're not a designer, what the heck, just have fun with it. But that's the reason why, streamlining his morning routine.
And you know that. And that's my point. So for the business owners who are out there who are going to be watching this, and for the professionals who are going to be watching this, I'm not saying that you have to wear a black turtleneck every day, but I'm saying when you think of yourselves as a brand, personal brand and professional brand, you want to think about the things that are unique that you offer and provide that other people will find relatable, and you want to make sure you share those things, but not just share them like on a soapbox. You really want to have conversations with people around their interests as well. I'm sure there were several other designers who went out and started wearing black turtlenecks just because Steve Jobs, wore black turtlenecks. And like, that's what we're talking about here in marketing. That's not manipulation. What that does actually, what Steve Jobs was really great at doing was creating a term called top of mind awareness. So as soon as somebody thought about like cell phone, automatically you'd say iPhone, computer, MacBook. So marketing doesn't always have to be this product, place, price, promotion. In this day and age, we can have a lot of fun with marketing, but we have to understand what the goals and results may be, and they're not always going to be directly sales related in terms of you post something on social media and somebody already buys from you or what have you. There's other benefits and byproducts that you get to sharing these things about yourself and differentiating yourself.
Yeah. I think differentiation is the key. I mean, the irony for me as a business owner is that marketing is the one class in business school that I didn't do as well as I did in my other classes. I mean, I got a B, but I'm sort of a high achiever. But point being that, like, I don't think I connected with, oh, great, price, product placement, promotion. But what I do really connect with is the differentiation piece, especially because that's what I help my clients with. And I think that that's where, for a long time, people got a little bit lost in corporate culture, having to be a certain way, wanting, everything just being boom, boom, boom. This is what you have to do. I mean, I remember my first job out of college was at Robinson's May when it was being bought by Federated. And people had been working there for 20, 25 years, and they didn't know what differentiated themselves, because they'd just been doing the same thing because it was easy and it was comfortable and it was a good life, a simple life, which is totally fine. But it was really interesting to see that sort of dynamic played out even in that corporate arena. But you're just bringing this sort of like, maybe that's a little bit of a reason why. Also, marketing has changed so much in the last 13 years because of social media. But I don't know, let's talk a little bit more about the differentiating piece and like
Sure.
how people can hone in on what it is that makes them unique, whether they're in a corporate situation or whether they're an entrepreneur business owner who has something to share, has value to add, and is wanting to reach their people more effectively.
I love this question and opportunity, if you will, because let's look at fitness as an example. The fundamentals of fitness are the fundamentals of fitness. They're never going to change. So you've got a ton of personal trainers, right, in the fitness arena who theoretically may be teaching the same thing. This is where the personal brand and the story behind why the business was created and what the specialization is, what the focus is, really come into play. So there's this like new exercise workout called Pound Fit or whatever. And it's these girls who take like drumsticks and they dance and all that. At the surface level, what they're teaching people is cardiovascular exercise. It's aerobics. But what they've really been able to do to differentiate them from all these fitness trainers and videos and stuff out there is add drumsticks, and come up with that story. Music influences us, music inspires us, and we get bored working out on a treadmill. If you love music, how fun is it to burn calories and dance and pretend like you're playing the drums? And did you know that when you take a drumstick and move it like this, you're working your arms and your abs? So, whatever your business is, it's very likely that those fundamentals are there, okay? So start with the fundamentals. From that, how do you have a different take or approach on those fundamentals? Let's say you're a baker, okay? And all of a sudden you start baking gluten-free products. Maybe your different differentiating factor is that zucchini is the base of all the products that you bake. And you have to share that, and you want to speak to it, and you want to ask people how they feel about zucchini, and listen to what people say about your brand, and conversate with them, versus pushing out a bunch of jargon through what I like to call a marketing megaphone. As far as, you know, differentiation, it doesn't have to be wild and crazy. The time-saving example is a really great example. Okay. Be practical. What is it that you're saving people time for so they can go and do? And you can speak to that. Or we've said, Catherine, with regard to like you styled and stuff, there's a lot of stylists that are out there, but your whole specialty is really working with these women who are going out into the speaking circuit, these professional women, these women who are really, really, really dedicated to their careers. That's enough of a differentiator. Now, where the marketing aspect comes in is making sure you provide some real life scenarios for that woman. What is she doing? What is she spending her time on? She's jumping from board meeting to maybe a cab to a dinner party with girlfriends, and she could be wearing the same outfit and feeling kind of like frumpy by the time she gets to this event where she has to go and network. It would be your responsibility as the business owner and the brand to make sure that as you share your products and services, you're sharing each of those scenarios so that your customer, like I said before, can self-identify. Mm-hmm. That is really the key here, ladies and gentlemen, the self-identification piece.
That's amazing. Jaclyn, see, I hope you all are realizing how brilliant she is, clearly. So I'm so excited to share this with you. And I just wanted to say a quick note. I do see there's a number of you sitting and watching. If you do have any questions, feel free to tweet me or Jaclyn. Jaclyn's at Jaclyn Mullen, JACLYNMULLEN, and I'm at Catherine Cassid. No Y, wasn't it too many letters in my name? So CATHERINECASSID. Or feel free to comment within the Hangout. I unfortunately did not activate the Q&A app beforehand, which I've been able to do during, but you know, Google likes to keep changing things on us to keep us on our toes. So please, or just reach out if you have any questions. Of course, you can always connect with us after the fact too if you have other questions. We're both very much here to support you. And Jaclyn, I want to end this, unless there are more questions that come up, with a very important question.
And I wanted to encourage everybody, come on, you guys. I'm going to check my phone really fast. Tweet us. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but side note, this is what I love to do. So,
let's talk a little bit about style and style power. And how would you describe your, so I want to bring it back to that because I do think it's really important, and you do have your own distinct style. How would you describe your style, and how has your style impacted how you show up in your business and career?
This is a really good question too. I'll tell you why. From a branding perspective, we hear the term branding, okay? There's two categories as far as branding, as far as I'm concerned. You've got your visual brand, the look and feel of your brand, and you've got the reputation of your brand, or what your brand is known for and what you communicate about your brand, textually speaking. So my style, that performing artist has a huge influence on my style. I am the kind of person who loves to rock like a black blazer with maybe a, tank top and distressed jeans and heels. I like to play with extremes. So I like to have elements of classic pieces with like what I would consider maybe more trendy, or how would you describe distressed jeans? Because that is like the one piece that I cannot live without in my wardrobe. That wouldn't be trendy. What would you say that is? It's not edgy.
No, I'd probably go more, yeah, it's edgy. It's, okay. I mean, certainly if you were corporate, you couldn't pull them off.
Okay. But I would differ. I would wear those in a corporate office. See, that's the thing. So,
well, it depends on where you are. You need to be mindful of who you're meeting with and who you're talking with. If you were actually corporate, like not necessarily going to take a meeting with a corporate company. You can do whatever you want because you are your brand, taking a meeting with a corporate company. But if you were actually corporate, you do have to be mindful of, you know, what business, what their what's the word? Why am I blanking? You know, whether it's business, exactly, like business casual, business formal, etc. And if you were corporate and taking a meeting, then you'd really have to be in alignment with that. I mean, it's like you need to take you know, you can't lose yourself. So you still need to have ways of bringing your own personality into your wardrobe in corporate, but you also need, like, you're representing that company's brand as well. So, but distressed jeans, I mean, that's like an edgy, again, you're an entrepreneur, you live in LA, like, in LA you can wear jeans everywhere, so it's really not as big of an issue, even probably in a lot of corporate settings, but just not all. So anyway.
Advertising agency, radio station, I mean, so as far as like my personal style, I'm really big into the color blue. So this color actually has some personal symbolism. So I'm big on, like, this is actually my birthstone color, and this is the color of my website, so I consider it sapphire blue. I wear it to remind me why I'm here. I wear it to stay inspired. Like, this color is my birthstone color. You know, I'm here to, like, be creative and have an impact on the world, and when I see this color, it reminds me to connect with that emotion, right? I would say that, you know, style-wise, like, I always love to have my nails done. I like to have, you know, I really think that, particularly being a creative, you have to showcase that, and not in this overt way. Like, I think Betsy Johnson is super cool and awesome, but I'm not that extreme. I really like to play with edgy, classic, and then, as you know, one of the more important style influences lately has been feminine. Feminine. I definitely want to embrace that femininity because I have a lot of energy and a lot of ideas, but I also want to look pretty and feel like a woman at the end of the day. So,
yeah. Nice. I love it, and I love that you brought in the color, how impactful that is on your sort of mood and energy when you wear it. So, and why you wear it with inspiration. I think that's really a great takeaway for people as well, because color is not just about, you know, so you stand out. It really is personal, you know, and your color happens to be my favorite color, but just for different reasons. For me, it's like it makes me happy. Like, it's a fun color. And blue, I've always, like, vacillated between blue and red, but red was really, I think, more like that should be my favorite color because it's a power color. It's my mom's favorite color, you know. But I'm blue. Like, I'm just more low key, down to earth, but there's, like, this pop of fun or whatever. And I think that's really cool. You know, I love that you have so much clarity around that. So
I try. You helped me. You definitely did help me. I remember part of the reason why I love what you do is I wasn't really owning my power. I've always owned my style. But earlier this year, Catherine and I had a heart-to-heart, and I wasn't owning my power. Part of that is because I want to be humble, you know, particularly coming from a performing arts background. Nobody likes the showboat. And Catherine looked at me, and she was like, you need to stop hiding. So that's what this is all about. You can have the style or you can have the power, and sometimes you need that catalyst to help you have both.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I didn't see any additional questions come in. I'm sure there will be a number of them after the fact.
Now, let's see. Oh, Myra! Hopefully you're watching. Hi, Ambitionista chat. Love it.
I know. I love that hashtag, obviously. So without further ado, everyone, you can get more of Jaclyn Mullen. She posts amazing information on her Facebook fan page. I would highly encourage you to like it so that you can get her wisdom and her updates regularly. And if you're in LA, she does host a workshop once a month at the Microsoft store in Century City, and they're amazing. And I also know that she does a lot, you know, she does great work with people one-on-one, and it's seriously, like, it's mind-blowing. So I would highly recommend you continue the conversation with Jaclyn, and it's facebook.com/Jaclyn Mullen Media. That's correct, right, Jaclyn?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And one thing, if you don't have I do want to say that as women, part of Catherine's movement is like bringing women together. So don't hesitate to create a little, marketing group for yourself, a focus group with some of your closest friends and confidants, and have them take a look at what you're sharing online. Write down the 3 emotions you want associated with your brand and ask people to review your content to see if those emotions are coming through. Be open to feedback. I know we build these businesses, we build these brands with a lot of passion, and sometimes we can be very protective. But at the end of the day, like I said, the main takeaway I want to emphasize to everybody is we're here to create community. And like they say, there's no I in team. So try to figure out ways that you can include your community versus isolate yourself from the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that genius bonus tip for you all. And if you want more information, you can always find me at ustyled.com, USTYLED.com. And you can always join my Facebook community at facebook.com/ustyled. And I would encourage you, I do have a free email series, How to Build a Wardrobe You Love, that you can sign up for on my website. And it walks you through the differences between closet staples, wardrobe updates, and it really is about building wardrobe you love. I want you wearing what you have in your closet. I want you to feel empowered and confident, ready to take on the world each morning. And that's just a little something that can get you started. So without further ado, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you again, Jaclyn, for joining us.
Thank you. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yay! And to all the women out there, just keep stepping into your style power, and I look forward to meeting you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.